Thank you, everyone. Nice to be here tonight. So, trains are 3 times more energy efficient than anything on road, and they're much easier to electrify. And this makes them a key piece of the puzzle for decarbonizing transportation. The European Union and most of the government wants to double the modal share of rail, and we want to contribute to that shift. The main problem is today there's a big driver shortage all over Europe. We could run many more trains if we had more drivers already today. Most of the operators mentioned this as the #1 problem for growing rail traffic. If we were to have enough drivers, we would need to train 5 times more drivers every year to meet the growing demand. So autonomous trains are an obvious solution to that problem. What's interesting to know is that it scales really well because you need on average 5 drivers to keep one train running. A driver drives 4 or 5 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week, whereas the train runs 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. It also really has good unit economics because each driver are fairly well paid. If you add the overall cost of the driver with the training, the management, the overhead, and so on, you're close to 100K per year per driver. So you're saving $500,000 of labor costs for every single train that you automate. That makes it a much better unit economics than robotaxi, for example, or other automations where you're saving just a few positions. And also has other benefits like improved reliability, improved flexibility, new mode of operation, and so on. So what we do concretely at Futurail, we focus on the AI and the software. So we install off-the-shelf LiDAR and camera on the train. We process all the information from the sensors to build an environment model, understanding if there's any danger in front of us. And if there's a danger, we send a slow-down command to the train. In terms of go-to-market, so our first product are driver assistance and track monitoring. This gives us earlier access to customers, to data, and obviously brings us revenue. Then for full autonomy, we also go step by step. The first segment that we target are isolated regional lines for passenger traffic. These trains brake pretty well, are pretty lightweight, and they're the only train on these tracks. And then we increase complexity progressively. We go to interoperable regional trains. And once we cover enough of the network, we also address freight train. Just to clarify, we don't see high-speed train actually as a big market for us because these are hard to automate. The return is pretty low, and there's only a few of these trains in Europe. So this makes a total market 50 billion. If we focus on Europe, regional and freight is 15 billion. And if we capture 20% of the value that we create and we get 50% of the market, it's still a 1.5 billion revenue for Futurail. In terms of competition, you have the big guys that build the train, but they focus on integrating and buying the technology. You have some tier ones like Bosch, but they really come from the hardware side where software is an afterthought and they're constrained to their own sensor set. And so in the same quadrant as us, there's only a few players. For example, 2 other startups, Odiv in Belgium and Railvision in Israel, but they really don't have solutions that scale, that have the capability to do a safe system. In terms of traction, so obviously you have multiple proof of concept in the pipe. Also very interesting, we have signed a partnership with Infrabel, which is the infrastructure manager in Belgium. And so we have our sensor installed on, our sensor box installed on one of the train, which provides us over 10,000 kilometers of data that we need to develop and validate our algorithm. And we have our first paying customer. Laura was building this train for SNCF, specifically for the small line. So that's going to be a 20-ton battery-powered, 30-seat train. And we're going to be the autonomy provider on this train. In terms of team, so a founding team is Patrick, my co-founder, and myself. We met each other at Argo AI, which was a joint venture between Ford and the Volkswagen Group. I've worked myself 10 years now in autonomous vehicle, including 2 years at Tesla in the US and 3 years for Audi subsidiary for robotaxi. Before that, I was in robotics for 15 years, and I've started a company also in that field. And so in the team, in total, we have over 50 years of experience building autonomous machines. And in terms of milestones, so we're currently actively raising for a pre-seed round of 800K. We can still take a few investors, so if you're interested, please talk to me. With that, the next milestone for us in the 2 years is to deploy the intelligent rail solutions, to get the first prototype running of autonomous train, get a contract for full autonomy, and build a team, obviously, and also we're going to match what we raise with grants. And that's the end of my presentation. Thanks for your attention.